Hello and welcome back to New Storytime. There are going to be a total of 2 stories today in this video. The first story is about a personal encounterment at the cemetery. Those that don't know me, I am an Uprising Shaman. A shaman in our Hmong community are healers and protectors that serve as an equilibrium for the living and dead. A shaman usually has 2 or more spirit guides, depending on what type of shaman they are. Lately, I noticed that my spirit guide has been quite strict on me by restricting what I can do and what I can eat. And to be honest, I had a really hard time trying to record this drawing. They will not let me complete the drawing regarding the first story for whatever reason. Every time I try to record this video, my camera will randomly turn off, the video stop button will randomly be pushed, my hand will either become too shaky, or my phone will overheat. I have to stop myself and tell them that I am no longer scared, and for them to let me draw this picture so I can help others avoid the entity that I saw that day. During the peak of the pandemic, one of our cousins' entire family caught COVID and were too sick to buy any medication. My mother-in-law insisted that we drop off medication to them. Since I was newlywed into their family, I did not know these cousins or where they live, so my mother-in-law told my 2 sisters-in-law to drive us and show me the way to their house. As we got closer, I noticed there was an empty land on the corner with gray stones. I asked my sister-in-law, and she told me that that cemetery has been there for ages. We slowly passed the cemetery to get to the cousin's house. Once we delivered the medication, we proceeded to drive back home. As we got closer to the cemetery, we all noticed a white rabbit on the side of the street, right outside the gate of the cemetery. The rabbit has white and shiny fur with dark red eyes. My sister-in-law, who was the driver, stopped the car and complimented on how pretty the rabbit was, and asked my mother-in-law if we could keep the rabbit. Without hesitation, my mother-in-law instantly yelled no and told her daughter to hurry up and keep driving. My sister-in-law listened and slowly drove past the rabbit. Since the rabbit was so pretty, I wanted to have a second look at it, so I turned my head to look back, and to my surprise, the rabbit's head was turned towards me 180 degrees to look back at me and smile. Then the rabbit began to morph and shift into a young girl. This girl has a clean white dress on with dark brown hair. What bothered me the most about this girl was that she has the same smile as the rabbit, a wide smile that creeped all the way up to her cheeks. Her body was still in the same position as well, with its head turned backward to look at me. Frightened, I quickly looked away. My mother-in-law looked at me and gave me a nod. She then said, "Nhau, tu luan de chia ning no," which means, "Daughter-in-law, that rabbit is not human." You see, my mother-in-law is also a shaman in our household, and I think she probably seen and knew what I saw already. To this day, I still feel shaken and a bit scared from that experience, and I'm guessing that's probably why my spirit guide wants to block that out for me. Moving forward, the second story is about a personal encounterment that I had while I was still pregnant in the year of 2021. Ever since I've been pregnant, things are just not the same. I hear and see things that I shouldn't be seeing and hearing. As I got further along with my pregnancy, I was put to bed rest since I was considered high risk. I remember one early morning, my husband decided to go fishing. He got all his things ready and came to wake me up to tell me he is leaving. I grabbed my phone and saw that the time was only 4 a.m. in the morning. I hugged him goodbye and told him to be careful. Since our room is upstairs and next to the driveway, I was able to hear and see my husband start his car and drive away from my window. I tried to go back to bed, but was not able to do so. As I was about to fall asleep, I heard heavy footsteps running upstairs. I quickly grabbed my phone to check the time again. It was 4:15 a.m. My door then slowly opened, and it was my husband. He came inside, sat by the foot of my bed, and just stared blankly at me in the dark. Confused, I asked him why he came back. He did not respond, but continued to stare at me. That's when I realized I did not hear my husband's car pulling up in the driveway. I should have been able to hear him since my window is open and our room is next to the driveway. There is no way this person is my husband. After having this thought, I suddenly hear my spirit guide telling me to sit up and instructing me to get rid of him as he is not human. The voices in my head grew louder and quickly turned into rage. I don't know what happened, but they took over me and started to yell at this entity. I could feel voices projecting out of my mouth, but it was not me who was yelling. It was my spirit guide. And they said, "No chiako vako cheo, guya ne motu moti, guya ne yai, ko tori kya do mu lindo, ya kon de gu jia ko bei ge, ko lu gu jia ko o ge no." Which translate to, "You are not welcome here. I am a gifted and special shaman. Go away in your original form. If you are long, I will chop you in 3 pieces. If you are short, I will chop you in 2 pieces." The entity continued to stare at me, but slowly got up and walked out of my room without losing eye contact. After he left, I could still feel the adrenaline rushing through my vein. My hand and feet would not stop shaking. I have to calm myself down multiple times to finally stop the shakiness. I'm not sure who and what visited me that night, but I am sure that it was not my husband, especially if it was able to trigger my spirit guides to take over. Thank you for listening to New Storytime. If you have any suggestion or comment, please leave them below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Please also note that an Uprising Shaman is not a shaman. They cannot be an official shaman until they have an altar and a master to guide them. If you are looking for someone to help you, please reach out to your local community shamans.